Because you are trying to make too much of it.
That's probably true.
Simply realize once again that part of what you are experiencing as a quote-unquote problem of expression is simply that you, when you chose to exist in physical reality, by choosing certain ideas of limitation, of restriction, in order to express and experience another path of becoming more self-aware, included within that path, in a sense, that inability to relate to that idea. Do you follow me?
To the idea of being awake?
In a sense. In other words, you have limited yourself on purpose away from the idea of being able to understand both sides at the same time. In other words, paradox is very, very, very livable in a non-physical universe. In a physical universe, it is not, and so seems confusing.
Yeah.
That is partly the purpose. To experience the idea of two sides which cannot coexist, and yet you know they must, and this spurs you on to discover more about your own awareness. Realize that when you allow paradox to exist within your life, as you can, more and more, then every time you experience the idea of paradox, you will know, it will be, in a sense, a clue that you are dealing more and more and more with your higher consciousness. It is simply one more creative way of creating. Allow yourself to simply live.
Got it.
Thank you. Question?
I have two questions.
All right.
One, is it possible, either on this planet or other planets, for a woman to conceive a child with her mind, not needing the male?
In very rare circumstances, it will take a great deal of, I'll say, acquiescence from the overall mass consciousness. Do you follow me?
I don't know exactly what that means.
Realize that the collection of consciousness upon your world altogether can be viewed as a mass consciousness in and of itself, with its own self-aware identity. When that self-aware mass consciousness recognizes purpose, then it can allow any of its, in a sense, consciousness components to achieve what you have said by supplying the necessary energy.
That's interesting, thank you. My other question is, I have been told that on other planets where they have spaceships, that they don't make or build spaceships the way we build cars here, but they actually grow them the way a crystal can grow.
Some, yes.
Some.
Not all.
Okay.
It will depend, again, on their own degree of awareness, their own self-imposed ideas upon their reality and what they have chosen to experience. You will find really quite a variety of methods, depending again upon level of understanding, some of which, in your terms, would seem quite like magic. Realize there are civilizations, in a sense, who do not even require what you would recognize in any way, shape, or form as a ship.
Yes, they can just teleport themselves from one place.
Yes.
That's fascinating, thank you.
Thank you. Question?
Yes, I have a question. In looking at this idea of paradoxes, you know, good and bad and various opposites, sometimes I'm very puzzled by the idea of I myself choose to follow things which are good or pleasant or beneficial for myself and others. And then there's times when I look at that and I say, well, if everything is equal, what difference does it make?
All right. Very good. To a sense, none.
Okay.
But you will find that you may simply allow yourself to use that moment of, I'll say, neutral gear to realize that your own center is capable of allowing you to create at that moment whatever you wish as a reality. In other words, you may get into the spirit of creation. At that moment, you do not need to pursue any particular path. You may create a new one from scratch, if you will. Do you follow me?
Yes, I do.
It will only go as far as you are willing to allow yourself to believe that you have that much power. As long as you remain unwilling to view that idea in terms of expression of your own creative power, you will remain in neutral. You might even, in a sense, slip back into gear on one path or another and travel a little further until you feel comfortable slipping out again. All right?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question? Is the weather patterns on our planet a common denominator of the mass consciousness?
Very good. Thank you. Question?
Is this planet being kept from tilting too drastically off its axis by off-planet with the help of?
Only in a very, very remote sense. There is no need for us to watch that which you are taking care of. Again, you know your own cycles very well. Realize that there is only, in a sense, only one area in which we, in your terms, would interfere at all in your society, and only one. And that would be the complete and total annihilation of your society if it were to affect other dimensions of reality, and only if. Question?
Yes, why is, you mentioned the nuclear holocaust, why is that particularly bad to the various dimensions?
You will find that, in your terms, the physiological and psychic ramifications would be very far-reaching. Also, your particular planet, in its present position, occupies, in a sense, a vortex point, or very close to it enough, so that it would have, in a sense, feedback through an opening. Do you follow me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, we have obviously different levels of awareness in different areas, if you could say that. Who is the
Right,
most...
but you have already said it, so I do not need to.
Who is the most aware being or group of beings that you know of?
Upon your planet?
No, everywhere, anywhere.
The most aware. Is this a contest?
No.
What will they win?
Well, no, it would give me... Well, I'd like to get an idea how far advanced or how far...
So that you will know for yourself that you have to struggle a long time. So you will feel even more insignificant.
Well, I was just kind of curious. I was just kind of curious if they could match me, really.
All right. Question.
Was the asteroid belt once a planet?
Yes.
How long ago did it become the asteroid belt?
In terms of time, as you reckon it, it was several million of your years ago. You will also find that it once occupied the orbit now occupied by the planet you know as Mars, and vice versa.
They exchanged orbits.
Yes.
Fascinating.
That is why you will find there was life upon that planet. It was well within the zone of life within your solar system, being the third and fourth planets. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Also, That is why we will make sure that does not happen again. But I will tell you that within 4 of your years ago, your mass consciousness together decided that that would not happen. In other words, while we would not allow that to happen, you have already taken the responsibility out of our hands. I will say thank you very much.
Did you have a vacation?
Was that reflected directly in the presidential lectern of 80 in this country? That kind of new awareness and self-validation that came about with Reagan's election?
You will find that your idea, in a sense, but not as you think it, your idea of what you're trying to be, your governments, in a sense, have been created by you. Much in the same way that we spoke of that individual creating the consciousness that told him to go and do these things, because you have not accepted your own responsibility for your own fear. And so you create the idea of organizations to handle that fear for you, so you will not have to deal with it. Realize that once you create an organization based on fear, it will try to keep itself alive as any consciousness will, and if it is created by fear, what will it have to create to live?
Fear.
Thank you. Take back your fear. Be responsible for all of your emotions, and you will not need them. Question.
Was that the role of Hitler for Europe?
To a degree. Although there was much in the way being acted out again in terms of knowing that fear that a certain idea will occur is the same thing as believing that it will, and in believing that it will be. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Question. What is your definition of responsibility?
Responsibility is complete freedom of choice.
Wow.
Knowing that you are totally responsible for every idea within your reality means you can choose any idea you wish. On your world, many people view the idea of responsibility as blame, as a trap, as a prison. Realize responsibility is the key, at the same time, to that prison. You may unlock any door you wish by being totally responsible for everything within that prison. You may open the door and find out that you are also totally responsible for everything outside the prison as well. Question.
I have interest in levels of awareness. We've talked about you being like 300 years ahead and so on. What I've noticed is we tend to look at each other as having different levels of awareness.
Yes.
And we get in trouble sometimes with that.
Yes. Each and every one of you has chosen, once again, a certain path for yourselves, but each and every one of you performs, creates, realizes that path equally with every other path. No matter what that path consists of, the energy is the same. The creative force is the same. And so each awareness, in a sense, in an overall idea, is the same. Even though views within each path may not be. As I said, you are always in control, even when you create a situation in which you feel out of control. It does not mean you are less aware than the one who knows they are in control. It simply means you are creating different realities with the same amount of control. You are all equal. All equal. Question.
In 1980, what was circumvented? There was something in 1980 that mass consciousness circumvented, so you didn't have to interfere?
In other words, you no longer felt the need to express the idea of nuclear war.
Was there an actual event that we would know that was marked in time?
No.
Good.
It was a mass decision. You will now see events physically which will represent that decision.
I just wanted to make a comment that as a young child, I felt very much like all the world was a stage and I was just another player and the scenery was just changing, and every once in a while the players changed, and that just kind of reaffirms that viewpoint. I had that so vividly as a child all the time.
You may also realize that there is only one constant in the universe: change.
I understand.
Thank you. Question.
I have a question.
All right.
How do you define universe when you say that?
For us, again, I use your terminology. Multiverse is more apropos for our recognition of all that is. There are many, many universes within all that is. The term all that is more, in a sense, according to our perception of ourselves. Question.
Yes. You defined before your civilization as living light, and you also said that about our civilization.
That is our term for ourselves.
Could you elaborate?
Symphony translates out as living light. We simply view every being, every consciousness within the physical universe as a congealing of vibrational energy, electromagnetic per se in nature. In other words, living light. You are energy beings. Matter is energy, you know this. Light, you will come to understand in your civilization, will have a great many abilities which you will be able to make use of. Light is the motive power and the only source of power for our spacecraft. Question.
Yes, I have a question. Then are you familiar, you were probably familiar with radionics on this planet. Are you?
To a degree, you will find that the more you understand the idea of tonality and vibrational frequency, the more you will understand that light and sound will be combined in almost every field, including medicine, including construction, including space travel. Everything can utilize in some way, shape, or form the idea of vibration in light and sound. Do you follow me?
Yes, these different frequencies apparently have different qualities.
Yes.
And abilities and
Yes.
whatever. I see.
Question.
Darryl, Bashar, what is this frequency that most people hear ringing in their ears? High frequency sound.
You will find it will be certain energy vibrations which will have physical translation within what you term to be your nerve network within certain portions of your brain, of your physical brain. These will simply resound through certain portions of your auditory system when you are, in a sense, shifting gears electrochemically, electromagnetically within your physical shell. Do you follow me?
But does it go on constantly? There's a high frequency sound that goes on constantly.
In a sense, you may view the idea also as, to a degree, background radiation, though not radiation as you think of it. You may view that there is, in a sense, a suspension note which maintains the overall background mass reality. It will be, in a sense, a very slight tuning in to that idea.
Yes.
Question.
Yes, we've been talking pretty much in terms of frequencies and vibrations and wavelengths.
There really isn't much else.
Well, that's my question. That's like to an expression of a physical dimension in one form or another.
Yes.
My hidden standard, or whatever it may be, thinks in terms of beyond that.
Beyond what?
The physical. Beyond the physical universe.
All right. What about it?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like my interpretation here is maybe there's a denial of that of some sort.
Simply, every idea is simply a combination, in physical terms, of overlapping energy patterns, which are a direct impingement of the view of consciousness being expressed by all that is, or a portion thereof. What you term to be physical reality is, again, simply one reality. There are many types of physical reality. There are many types of non-physical reality within all that is. All that is simply all that is. Anything you can imagine, in a sense, exists somewhere within all that is. You cannot imagine non-existence. Go ahead, try.
Thank you. Question. Is L. Ron Hubbard living, aware of his in conscious control of his own activities, and is he still actively running the Church of Scientology or interested in it?
We will simply say that that individual has come to recognize certain aspects of the personality which were not allowed to flow, thus creating, in a sense, certain dilemmas of responsibility within the overall consciousness identity. We will say that this served a purpose in its time for this individual. We will also say that that individual will come to recognize certain ideas which they may attempt to introduce back into that system from a new direction. Be aware that this at one and the same time will be an attempt to correct oversights, and at the same time will simply be a lesson for the individual that one way of expression may be one individual's chosen way, but that within any idea there are many, many, many valid ways of expressing the overall path. For now, I will say that is all I will say about that.
Thank you.
Question?
Yes. We were just talking about the vibrational frequencies and tonality. Obviously, this is quite an involved, or it could be quite an involved subject.
No.
If I
Obviously, it could be. Yes, thank you.
What I would
you
like
may
to know.
keep it simple if you wish.
Terrific. What I would like to know.
But you
is,
will go right ahead and make it complex. All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. You're right. What I would like to know more about more information on the different colors and their particular effect on human health and so on, including the tonalities. Now, this may be more, that's why I was prefacing this, there may be more than we want to go into at this point. So maybe you could answer it as to references that I could utilize and study more into this myself.
You may, well, allow yourself to hold conversation with individuals you turn to be both musicians and what you call laser physicists. You will find that they will, in a sense, lead you to certain understanding which you may find more references to among your written works upon your planet. You will find you will lead yourself to exactly the level of comprehension you desire. Also, you will find there will be a few what you term to be medical practitioners who will have some ideas about this. Not many at this time, but some.
Okay.
Allow your inner awareness, allow your own inner tonality and identification with a vibration to lead you to your own information. Allow yourself to be aware of when you wish to be in a certain place at a certain time. You will create for yourself, if you wish, a momentum for any form of information which will place you at exactly the right place in the right timing to receive that information by whatever method that you will allow yourself to accept. All right?
Yes.
One moment. Do not allow yourself to ignore messages from seemingly obtuse, as you say, avenues, such as animals and the nature around you. Even the rocks are conscious in a sense. And you can allow them to tell you things about vibration that you would be astonished to learn. Let yourself feel their information. I know you know how to do that, right or wrong.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
I was just going to say that a number of years ago, probably before in Scientology I went into the OT levels, I was very able to do all of that, and everything in my life was going right place, right time.
But
that's it, but I don't know but. I'm trying to untangle but.
why do you feel the idea of your life was running so smoothly at that time?
I was making it go right.
Why?
I guess my vibration was my
One
vibrations
moment.
were good.
One moment. Why?
I created it.
One moment. Why?
I wanted it to.
Who knows the answer? All right. How about why not? What happened to your why not?
I got serious.
Thank you!
I'd like to know a little about magic.
All right, in your terms, simply, 'tis the allowance of variations within the accepted norm, mass, shared, agreed upon reality that you, I'll say, are influential enough to impress upon another consciousness and get them to go along for the ride so that they shift their consciousness in accord with the view you have created, and so you create a seemingly new reality from out of nowhere. Thank you.
Would that be the same kind of magic and that was mentioned in the tape by Nibs and the Four Doors? That was used by L. Ron Hubbard in any way?
No.
Thank you.
You will find that also many different levels of reality are experienced by many individuals in part on your planet. Now, some of these you have created a term for insanity. Realize that the realities they are experiencing are no less real than yours. They are simply not the agreed upon one. If they were able to convince you that there was a chair in front of them that you could not perceive, and you went along with it, you would perceive that chair. It would appear out of nowhere, seemingly. They would have performed magic for you. But really, you would be performing magic for yourself. Magic! Simply shifting of perspective. That is all. Question.
Do you have animals as we know them?
Yes. Not quite as you know them.
How are they different?
Physically, and also, in a sense, they blend more easily within our society, in that we each understand our relationship to one another. In other words, we listen to them as viable members, in a sense, of what makes our society function.
Great.
Question.
Yes. Well, children where you're from, do they come in, are they born with like a new adventure in life, like they're born here on this planet and looking around and experience everything like it's new, or do they know already what they're going to experience?
Both. They will have an unerring sense of how to explore, but there will be new creation. And so they will be in a constant state of excitement at discovering. Now realize that in our society, the adults don't lose that.
Do they remember their last lifetime?
Yes. Question.
Is there conflict as we know it on this planet and on some level, whether it magnifies into war or not in your civilization? What form does conflict take if it exists?
Not in your terms, no. There is no need for that. There is no need for that expression. It has been completely absorbed into the overall identity. There is challenge of self. There is unlimited creative potential and desire for new expression. There is no need to feel that one must create suffering or friction in order to create. Realize that you may, at this time upon your world, realize that it was an idea that served you also. You may now view the idea of struggling as simply that idea which teaches you that you can get whatever you want without needing to struggle anymore.
Thank you.
Question.
Do you have government or laws or money where you are?
Nope, nope, nope. You will find there will be, in a sense, what you term to be organizational bodies, simply because the amount of communication which proceeds between civilizations would require some organization, all right? You will find that the idea of what you term to be money really rests with the individual's willingness to be all that he or she can be anyway. You will find that the idea of abundance is always surrounding us in terms of our ability to do what we need to do. There is never a lack of ability. Question.
Do you eat physically?
Yes, although more rarely than you. Also, more simply. Question.
What kind of foods should we be eating?
Now, again, 'tis your own feeling, 'tis up to you. However, I will say that in terms of your mass consciousness, you have already understood the idea of what you term to be fruit juices to be of high benefit to your physical form at this time, particularly of the physical transformation into a more refined energy state. You will find that what you term to be vegetables will be beneficial, but they will have more specific effects upon various portions of your physical form, such as your herbs also will. You will find that what you term to be most nut meats will have some benefit. You will find that to some degree the ingestion of what you term to be fish will provide for you from time to time certain ideas you still require. I would suggest that you may reduce, if you do not feel like entirely eliminating what you term to be red meat, also to a great degree what you term to be dairy products, except for a very, very limited intake, very sporadically. You will find that if you wish to feel like you want to partake in this manner, you will feel what I will term to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more in tune with a slightly different momentum. You will also find that you will require slightly less sleep. Question?
While we're on that subject, do you have anything you can tell us about fasting?
For limited amounts of time, it will be quite all right if you do not feel like you are forcing yourself to stay away. Realize that in a mental attitude of deprivation, your fast will do you no good. It would be better to be very happy eating normally than to be very upset and not eating at all. Question?
Right.
Yeah.
One moment, yes.
In regard to animal consciousness, like, do most animals, do our animals maintain pretty much of a line, like dogs are dogs, cats are cats, or do they?
Do you mean, in your terms, reincarnationally?
Yeah.
Yes. You will find that because there really is no time, what you perceive here and now as the expression form of that consciousness is that expression form through all the entire time track. And so you will find that they will be always similar of form. Male and female will be interchangeable, since that principle exists in both.
Okay. Do humans sometimes interchange forms with animals?
No. You will find there can be identification, synchronization, and harmonization of consciousness with animal, but not in terms, as you know it, as needing to live out a complete physical life. No. Yes.
What is your viewpoint on the exercise of the body?
You will find that the first thing would be a good, healthy attitude. You will find that simple walking will be of great benefit. Simple self-image with the idea of maintaining a feeling of agility, a feeling of warmth, and the free flowing of the fluid through the body will be of great benefit. Realize many, many individuals on your planet quite over-exercise. You will find that many individuals who exercise themselves constantly are doing so because they are very, very, very afraid of being in ill health. That exercise will do them no good. Their fear of ill health, of dis-ease, is the overriding belief and will manifest as their reality, no matter how much they exercise. Realize that exercise is a spontaneous, natural burst of physical energy, very creative, spontaneously understood when necessary. You are also, in that sense, animals. Do you see animals exercise?
When they want to.
When they feel the need for motion,
Yes.
when they know it forms an integral part of their overall reality, then they will move.
That's right.
Otherwise, there is no need. You are always in health until you move yourself away from the idea. Question.
I have a question. On this planet, it seems to me that every species, in one way or another, eats another species smaller than it. All the way down to the fish in the ocean, etc., right down to, you know, single cell, I guess.
Well, it would look pretty funny if a small one tried to eat a big one.
Well, that wasn't my question.
All right, although yes, there are some.
I'll just give you some planet background on it before I get into the question.
That is all right. What is the question?
The question is when you eat, or in the process of eating, say, I eat meat, you ingest also the emotions of this animal that just died, etc.
Very good. You are accepting and identifying with a certain emotional pattern, vibrational energy, which results in your feeling the need to create a situation of tension. So in absorbing that idea, you are also absorbing the tension.
Okay.
That is why, now that you are accepting en masse the idea of a lighter vibrational frequency, ideas which transmit as tension-causing, more densifying vibrations will only make you feel sluggish.
Gotcha.
Question.
I have a question.
All right.
I don't know if it's really a question or just kind of to reflect off of you, but for a while I was trying to create on Earth a creation of people and children and men and women and animals and plant life living in some kind of a harmony the way that they don't live generally in our society. They're generally very separated, and children are not welcome in many circumstances, and animals are even less welcome, and so forth. Realistically speaking, in Earth terms of years, is that something that's going to happen soon?
Yes, you will find that it will happen quicker if you would allow yourself a few shifts in your vocabulary.
Uh-huh.
I was trying something which does not exist.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Yeah.
Do not try. Also, it does exist, right here and right now. When you allow the future to be the present, then it will not be in the future anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Live as if it is now, because it is. Then it will be. Then you will not need to say those things, because you will be doing instead of trying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes. Along the line of energy channels in the body, there are many practices right now of opening up the flow of like the Kundalini and other practices similar to that, where the chakras are actually stimulated and the energy flow brought up. How valid is that system, and how necessary is it?
Again, need right now, by being what you are, you may then just go right out and do what you want, knowing that you have all the energy you need to do it. Do you follow me?
I do.
We will say there will be a few more of your minutes. Question.
Yes. Why do you hold your hands in that position?
You'll find that, again, with the surrounding of what you term the channel with an energy field, it will function, in a sense, as a balancing for the physical form. It will be making a connection, so to speak, which will allow for the even distribution and flow of that energy.
Good.
Question.
Where's Darryl now?
To a great degree, you will find that the channel will be allowing him or herself to receive energy, slightly different vibration, also allowing themselves to, in a sense, explore various portions of their personality, you'll find simply that the main, what you term the ego-aware physical consciousness of the channel is simply diffused, defocused. Not that they are anywhere else. Simply that they are in a sense, synchronous movement with another idea, with another reality.
Does he put himself there, or is that
both?
Just a phenomenon?
We and he
Gotcha.
send and accept the link.
Question.
All right.
Okay. I noticed that when the transfer occurs, the body winces. It looks like it's somewhat painful.
There is no pain.
Okay.
It is simply physiological reaction to the distribution of the energy field.
Okay.
It will be, in a sense, involuntary reaction, but does not operate, in a sense, along the nervous system in that way. There is no pain.
Okay.
How would you summarize for us pain?
Now, you will know again that there is a side to what you term pain, which is very simply and very obviously an effect of your physical reality. There need be no grand philosophical viewpoint of that idea. You may, at any time you wish, cause or remove pain from your physical form, if it serves a purpose for you to do so. You may more allow yourself to simply realize that there really is no need for you to attract yourself or create situations which would tell you that you need pain to learn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How would you define integrity?
Integration, complete integration, and awareness of responsibility. In very many ways, the idea of integrity is simply allowing yourself and all portions of your personality to be integrated equally within you. Now, again, paradoxically, realize that the more you allow each portion of your personality its own complete recognition as its own identity, then the easier it will be for every single one of those portions to integrate into one unbroken idea of your overall self. That is integrity. Integrity is living fully as yourself. I will say that in that way we will be allowed to share with you more and more, and you will allow yourselves to share with us more and more. Therefore, I will say, we send you always all our love, all our support, all our energy. I will say thank you. I will say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.